Have you ever felt like your body changed and what used to work just doesn't work anymore? Maybe your energy feels unpredictable and all over the place. Maybe deep sleep feels like a dream. And maybe your moods feel a little more, well, edgier than they used to. This is the You Being You podcast, a podcast for ambitious women who are done fighting their bodies and ready to trust themselves more with every birthday. Here we explore how your body is showing up, what your hormones might be amplifying, and how to respond differently with awareness, curiosity, and small aligned shifts. Because every stage of life requires new skills. And this one is no different. Your body isn't the problem, it's the amplifier. There is a way to navigate this stage with clarity instead of control, and I'll show you how. If you're ready to stop panicking when your body changes and start trusting yourself instead, you're in the right place. This is the You Being You podcast. Let's begin. Welcome back to season 2 of the You Being You podcast. This is a space for ambitious women who are done fighting their bodies, done with all the shoulds and the woulda and the couldas, and ready to trust themselves more with every birthday. What I remember most, several birthdays ago when I was 44 and my period had stopped for the last time. So I had officially, at the age of 44, entered menopause. And here's the truth. I had such a rough time adjusting. And I remember deeply knowing that that was it, that was my last period, that I was done. I just had this sense that that was it. But the lead up to that and the other side of that day was not easy. And I was never sure of how I was going to show up. My moods, as I love to say, went up and down like a toilet seat. I had angry outbursts. And more recently on social media, I've heard it described as rage. And rage actually is pretty accurate because it's sudden, it's forceful, and very much not me. It was way out of character for me, for sure. I would actually stand in front of the mirror and say, what is wrong with me? Feeling really bad for my behavior that I didn't know how to make it stop. I didn't like how erratic I felt, and I started looking for solutions outside of myself. So I started with things like adaptogens, and I started incorporating ashwagandha into my diet. I started taking magnesium supplements because I know how that can be calming to your nervous system. And I avoided nightshade vegetables because there's a link between nightshade vegetables and thyroid illness. And I have a thyroid condition, or used to have a thyroid condition. And avoiding nightshade vegetables helps keep your thyroid healthier and in check, because I thought that that was the cause for my mood swings and my anger. But here's the problem. I was trying to change my chemistry instead of looking at my life. I often felt like I was being pulled in too many directions, right? Looking back, I was definitely overcommitted. And in retrospect, I was a tad resentful. I didn't realize that at the time. I needed more help. I needed to not be the one who was responsible for managing all the calendars, the groceries, what food was going to go on the table, and the thousands of other duties that young mums have to deal with. But here's the thing and the mistake that I was making. I was not asking for support. And when I did, I didn't hold anybody accountable to what I'd asked for help with. I didn't hold boundaries firm or follow up with what I needed from my husband or from my kids, things like drying the dishes after supper or helping make meals or pick up groceries. And I really didn't even know I was allowed to stop doing it all. I did know that somewhere in the mix, my hormones were off, but I didn't understand it. And the truth is, sometimes your hormones actually aren't the problem. They are the amplifier. You see, when your body is changing at any stage of life, from being a kid to a teenager, going from a teenager into adulthood, it can feel rough and it feels really unfamiliar, right? Because we've never been here before. And here we are again. Now we're going from adulthood into the wise womanhood. It's also unknown territory and a rough patch with our hormones are fluctuating again. Because when our hormones are acting as an amplifier, here's what's going on. We have our two sex hormones. I love to call estrogen and progesterone the besties because they were very, very closely tied to each other, just like best friends. So much so that when they go up and down, you often feel more erratic and less predictable than before. It's like missing your best friend, literally. And this unpredictability is a completely new feeling. Now let's take a look at how they both act. Estrogen is your sexy hormone. She's your libido. She's your energy. She's also your stress shield. So suddenly, our natural stress shield, estrogen, starts to drop, which means we can't handle stress as well as we once did because, well, there's less estrogen around. Then we have progesterone. She's the yogi. She's the cozy one. She's the cuddly one. And when progesterone drops, estrogen notices because progesterone is the one that helps ground estrogen. So with less progesterone and the less calming bestie around, you can start to feel more edgy, irritable, and anxiety can be triggered, rippling through into disjointed sleep, brain fog, just feeling uncomfortable. And when you start to feel uncomfortable and you start to feel edgy, guess what happens? Your cortisol goes up. I know, it's so frustrating. It's a perfect storm. So no wonder I found myself at the time with moods going up and down like a toilet seat. But hormones don't create the patterns. They expose them. Like a kitchen smoke alarm. Every time you burn something, it doesn't go off, right? I mean, it might go off, 50% of the time? Definitely not 100% of the time. Your smoke alarm monitors the heat and the smoke. And if you're cooking, say, fried eggs, and you have the pan on, you've put some butter in, and it starts to smoke. The smoke alarm might go off. It might not go off. But when it does go off, everyone jumps up. I usually grab a tea towel and we're waving it at the smoke alarm. We're trying to get it turned off. Sometimes you climb up on a stool and you take the batteries out. Our bodies are the same. It's not a lack of hormones that caused us to react, to have the moods that go up and down like a toilet seat, any more than it was the smoke alarm's fault that the eggs were burning. Our hormones are just reflecting and showing us where our body is actually catching fire. So when things are feeling a little on edge, can you see perhaps where you are overcommitted? When you need to take something off your plate, take a break, and maybe you just need to say no to some things. Perhaps there's a moment in time where you needed to start asking for support. Where else could somebody help you with the laundry, fold clothes, pay the bills, balance the bank account, pick up groceries, or even plan a few meals this week instead of you? And if you're having trouble with figuring out where that relief needs to be, ask yourself this question. And I wish I had asked this question of myself years ago. Where am I holding resentment quietly? It's a powerful clue. It's a really great starting point. And I'll ask that question again then I want you to go a little bit deeper. Where am I holding resentment quietly? When you ask this, it might not be quiet anymore, because what I do know is that nothing is wrong with you. Your body isn't willing to carry what it used to. And from here, it's starting to turn the volume up. It's like that smoke alarm in the kitchen. It's asking you to turn the heat down or the volume down. Because you don't fix anger. When you figure out where you're overcommitted and instead start asking for help, taking a break and setting up boundaries for yourself and realize that nothing is wrong with you and start to do what comes naturally. And in my case, the shift didn't happen when I found the right supplement. It happened when I became someone who pauses. Yeah. The biggest shift that I help women with inside the Flourish Academy with my members is where we start first. It was daily meditation, which gave my body permission to stop reacting. And it rippled into learning to sit, people watch while sitting in a cafe, or watching the rain fall in a window. And I taught my body how to stop reacting. And the cool part was the rage subsided. The intensity lifted because I taught my body how to pause. Once there was a pause, it gave my body and mind space. Once there was space, there was a choice. That's self-leadership for yourself. That's a part of the puzzle to becoming the wise woman you are. So let me show you a quick way to bring more pause into your day when you're feeling the heat rise, because so many of us, and I've heard it a million times, say, I can't meditate. But meditation doesn't need to be sitting in a chair with your hands up to the sky, with your eyes closed for half an hour. That's not how it has to look. Here's how you can take a pause. Okay, so sitting still. When you feel that heat rise, just take a deep breath. Hold it at the top. Put your hand on your heart. Hold it as long as you can, and then release and move forward. That's it. That's how you can teach your body to respond instead of react. You panic less. You notice before you react, and you begin trusting yourself more. So if you're listening to this thinking, okay, how do I do this in real time? And that's exactly what we practice inside the Stop Blaming the Dryer workshop, interrupting patterns in real time. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if you're ready to go deeper, take a look at the Flourish Academy. Remember, you can teach your body how to lower the intensity of your moods by practicing the pause. You panic less, you notice before you react, and you begin trusting yourself more. So until next time, keep being you. Thanks for listening to this episode of the You Being You podcast. If something resonated, share it with a woman who might need to hear it. And if you're loving the show, leaving a review helps more women stop fighting their bodies and start working with themselves instead. If you're ready to become a woman who feels steady in her body and trusts herself more with every birthday, the Flourish Academy is where this transformation happens. You'll find the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep trusting yourself and keep being you.